right, 10:02, what's happening? This is the Tiki Tierney Show on this Victory Monday, Barber. That's Giants bag another one, pal.
That's what they call them, Victory Mondays. But unlike Victory Mondays when you have an established team and you don't even go into work, maybe if you're injured, you go work out a little bit and get some treatment and ice baths and massage, whatever it may be. This is a Victory Monday where the Giants know they got to keep working. And it's funny because we kind of knew that the Giants were better than this Houston Texans team. We knew that they would win. And as you watched it, though, you kept asking yourself, how much, at least I did, how much better would this Giants team be? How much greater could we make the expectation if Daniel Jones had somebody other than Saquon Barkley that he could rely upon for big plays? Now, I'm not saying these guys, Darius Slayton had a really great day and Lawrence Cager had a big touchdown. I'm not saying that these guys aren't serviceable. David Sills had a couple catches. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how good could this Giants team be? Really, how good could Daniel Jones and this Giants team be if there was a superstar wide receiver on this squad? And I know people have up and down opinions on Daniel Jones. Even still, despite his lack of mistakes, he's proven he can be a leader. The run game is cooking with Saquon. Part of that's because of Daniel Jones. But it's time where the Giants have to fully believe in Daniel Jones, because you have no other choice this year, by the way, and put someone around him who can make him excel and look elite. That guy is Odell Beckham Jr. The Cowboys lost yesterday, and he doesn't want to go to Dallas because if he's in Dallas, it's a different world. It's a different kind of hate if he doesn't perform the way he performs regularly. If he comes to New York, or when he comes to New York, Daniel Jones gets better. This Giants team now really has a shot in the postseason, and we'll be on cloud 9 if that should happen. So I'm calling for. Last week we kind of danced around. Whoa, Odell can do this. I'm calling for the Giants to go get Odell because Daniel Jones has proven that he can be the leader. He just needs some elite talent in the wide receiver room.
All right, so not only is this Victory Monday, but this appears to be Overreaction Monday is what I'm hearing out of the shoe from my partner, Tiki Barber. Now, listen, you know that I like Daniel Jones. You do. You know that. You also know, despite the loss, the Dallas Cowboys still have a 94.1% chance to make the playoffs. And this is all important because this is absolutely part of Odell Beckham Jr.'s evaluation. Now, I think the Giants, and I said this on Friday, and, I'm sure from a semantic point of view, maybe it was a little bit misunderstood. I said that if the Giants did not beat the Texans, they were not going to the playoffs, okay? But that does not mean that if the Giants did beat the Texans, that I thought for sure that they were going to the playoffs. I think that they will. But there is a treacherous road in front of us. And it's got some tough matchups. And quite frankly, while I think it'll be a great story, I would love to see the Giants get Beckham. I know he's on the short list. We don't even know where he is physically, man.
Yeah.
So, I think we got to tap the brakes a little bit here. And on two levels. Number one, what would Beckham do in terms of injecting this Giants offense with whatever it needs to be injected? By the way, cut Kenny Galladay. Hey, I love Carl Banks. Carl, he's washed. I told you last week. I told you he's either washed or the Mafia's got their hooks into him and he's trying to throw these games on purpose. Kenny Galladay is a train wreck. That guy can be nowhere near this building. I don't care about the money. Get rid of him. He is disgraceful. He is just awful. I had to say that.
The boos were loud, DT, when that dropped.
You were there.
The crossing route, it was bad.
Yeah, but it wasn't even it was the crossing route, but there was also another play near the flats where, oh, no, you had to stretch out your arms 3 inches. Make the catch. He is awful. So this belief, and he's done. He's cooked. It's over. He's washed. So,
Even more reason why they need to go get Odell Beckham
No. I do agree with that. No, I agree. Listen, from that point of view, and I'm not saying don't get him. I'm not. Maybe I'm splitting hairs.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm saying, BT. What I'm saying is that if and when he's available, and if and when he's healthy, and I believe both those things are, well, he's available because he's a free agent, so forget that part of it. If and when he's healthy, don't get beat by whoever, the Dallas Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills, who lost again, by the way.
Yeah, crazy. That was a great game.
Great game.
Great
mistakes
game.
Everywhere, and Josh Allen looking pedestrian for some of that game. But my point is, people are going to come after Odell Beckham Jr. because it is rare that you have a superstar on the street in November. right? And so if you are the New York Giants and you just keep winning, you heard Daniel Jones and Jerry Recco's update. It's just one win at a time. That's all they're focused on. One win. If they keep winning and if they beat the Lions and then they play, they play Washington after
at Dallas. At Dallas.
Dallas on Thursday night. That's right. And if they beat Dallas or when they beat Dallas,
well, we're getting a little nuts here.
Don't let Odell Beckham Jr. Doesn't matter if they win or lose or not. My point, don't let Odell Beckham Jr. be someplace else when you need him. And you might not have the financial resources to do what, say, Dallas is going to do, or the Rams, who we're scuffling to, or Buffalo. You might not have the ability to pay him what he wants to up front. But there's a sentiment about Odell that if he comes back here, it's just and it helps this team win. It's going to be epic. Like, it's going to be that feel around New York. The Giants that you haven't felt in a really long time. So I'm just saying, don't get beat for Odell.
Okay. 877-337-6666. That's our number. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. By the way, it's also Jets-Patriots week. We'll get to that later as we do it inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Listen, I do understand, because I've said this a couple times. So I'm not trying to debate myself, although I guess on occasion I do that, I guess. The sentiment to me is a little bit superseding the reality of where Beckham is and who he currently is physically. You talk about how he started his career, where the Giants are now. I've even created this imagery where, and I've said it on the air, I'm like, guys, can you imagine? And I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it for the Giants. I'd love to see it for the fans. Can you imagine a situation against whomever? They get him, he catches a slant, he rips it 73 yards to the house, and that crescendo, like that built-up explosion as he's getting to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, like it would be, I don't even think this is hyperbolic because nothing's really happened for a while with our New York teams. That would be one of the most unique, explosive, cool sounds that our sports, like our city, has had in a long time. Long time.
Agreed.
Long time. But the reality of it is this. I understand, and it's a growing sentiment, and I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, nor am I saying that it shouldn't. But when it comes to Daniel Jones and the future, I just want to throw out a possibility. If you finish the season 3-5 and you've got some average stats, the energy dissipates. This race is not over with Daniel Jones. Somebody's got to be the bad guy and say it. I like him. He's playing really well. Giants are an amazing story. I can't stamp him as the guy yet, and I want to.
So what are you saying then?
I'm saying I need to see Daniel Jones the next 2 months. Really, that's where I'm going to determine, man, he is the guy. I can't say that yet.
Yeah,
I can't.
Well, I mean, obviously, but he's won. And he's winning, and he's a great leader out there, and maybe the statistics don't line up, but he's putting this team in position to win football games, and that's something that not everybody can say. I mean, Dak Prescott was terrible yesterday. Now, yeah, that was a game, and, probably they should have still beat the Green Bay Packers, but those interceptions were just like, what are you doing type interceptions. Daniel Jones isn't doing that. So my point is Dak lost the game, helped lose the game for the Cowboys. Daniel Jones is not helping lose any games. In fact, they haven't lost other than the Seattle game. That wasn't really his fault. That was on Richie James. So, I mean, Daniel Jones is doing what you're asking him to do. So give him talent so that he can do what he's been asked to do better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and listen, when you put it out there, I'm not even here to refute that. If this was before the season, I think that the energy, and I understand why it's amplified now because they bagged a couple of more wins, but like your position right now and the energy and the excitement and the conviction to me would have been a lot better if this was 2 days before the trade deadline. Go and get him something. Here we are, this, that, and all those things I agree with. He needs something. He needs more. It can't just be the Saquon and Danny Jones show. And by the way, Saquon Barkley's he's 3 yards away from 900 rushing yards. It's not even, it's barely the middle of November. He's been phenomenal. It's an amazing story. Again, the coach lights somebody up on the sideline twice. You know I love it. But I just don't know where Beckham is. I don't. Neither do you. Neither do the Giants.
But when he is available, because I know that Odell Beckham Jr. is a grinder, as much as we've hated some of the antics. He's a grinder. He's a baller. He wants to play. He loves the game. And I know he's going to get right. The ACL injury, I know it's a big deal, and it happened in February, but it's one of those injuries that you can get back from quickly. And I know he wants to, and I know he wants to be. I know what he wants to be. He wants to be this legend, wherever it is. Whether it was in Cleveland, it didn't happen there because he was hurt and quarterback issues and everything else. It happened for a minute out in Los Angeles, and unfortunately he tore his ACL. He wants to be that guy. And if he does it here in New York, it's just, I can't help but think about it and how amazing it would be. So I'm just saying, don't let him go to Dallas.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that.
Don't let him go to Buffalo. If he's right,
yeah,
and I think he will be right, you can't let him leave the building, or not leave the building because he's not actually here, but you can't let him go elsewhere and go do what he could do for the Giants for somebody else.
This is crazy, by the way. So the Giants, I told T before, 94.3% playoff probability. The Eagles are 99.9%. Dallas is 94.1%, all right? And by the way, the Jets and the Giants both are in the same seed right now. If the playoffs started today, Jets would be the 5 seed. They would play at Baltimore, 5-4 matchup. The Giants would be the 5 seed. They would play in Tampa, and we know how that first well, not only that, but think about how the first playoff game down in Tampa years ago with the Super Bowl.
That's right.
It was Tampa, it was Dallas, it was Green Bay, so maybe a nice omen there. And it's amazing where we are. I also, from both teams' point of view, I also have to point this out, and I'm not trying to rain on the parade, but this is the reality of the margin of error for the Giants, which is barely visible. They're winning 7-3, all right? Now, in the third early, 7-3, third and 9 on 46. That's the huge play when Slayton caught it, and he brings it to the house up the sideline. Great play, right? But it was also a horrendous whiff tackle by a terrible, putrid team. Now, it goes down, 54-yard touchdown. Giants get the gash. Giants eventually make some plays, pick off in the end zone. The Cooks touchdown negated, and they win kind of going away. If Slayton is tackled where he catches the ball, which he should have been, I mean, it really was an egregious whiff. Now, all of a sudden, that is probably a 4-yard gain. It's 4th and 5 right around midfield. You're not going for that when you're up 7-3, I don't think. You probably punt. I'm not saying that the Texans score a touchdown, but suddenly this thing gets deeper, and all of a sudden it could be 7-3 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but you're hypotheticaling something that already has happened.
But the missed tackle was pathetic.
I get it, but at the end of the day, I knew this game. What did you ask me when we were on with Moose and Kim? I said, this is going to be a one-possession game, even though they're significantly better than the Houston Texans. It's just how the Giants play. So for me, it was after the fumble, after the Texans were going in, and Leonard Williams caused the fumble. They recovered it. That was the nail, the opportunity for the nail. They kind of stuck it on the wood, but they didn't hammer it in because they went 3 and out and punted it back. They had to rely on an interception the next series. So this team is still flawed. They still are always going to play in one-possession games, but I love the way that they're resilient regardless of what's happening in moments.
So do I. And by the way, that's not that's not the debate. Their resilience is, they might have more than anybody in the NFL.
Yeah.
They are just really resilient. I agree with that part.
1 second before we go to break, BT, I got to send my thoughts and prayers down to my alma mater. There was a shooting at the University of Virginia. They're currently in lockdown. Some classes have been canceled, and they're searching for a former football player.
What?
3 people have been killed. 2 others were injured. And just want to send my thoughts and everything, prayers down to University of Virginia in Charlottesville. I know they're going through a tough time on grounds right now as we speak.
Oh, my God. We all send it to you. I mean, this world, this world is so backwards, man. And this stuff has become far too common.
Yep.
You're never desensitized to it. But, I mean, we used to be stunned when this happened. And on the most frightening level, are you stunned?
No, but
you're saddened.
You're sad because it's close to home.
It's 100%. But even when it hit Virginia Tech, it wasn't close to me. It's close to home because it's our country. Absolute. That is awful. All right, T, I'm sorry about that, man. So I did not even see that yet. So there you go. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. So levels of conviction. The quarterback, the playoff race, and we got you till 2. And that is Carton Roberts coming up after us on a busy Monday.